The world has felt strange since 2012. Many people have felt that the pace of time has accelerated since around 2012, but my perception is a bit different. Since 2012, I feel like a parallel world phenomenon has been rapidly developing within our minds. There are two types of reality. Objective reality. The reality created within each person's mind. What we actually experience is the second type, the reality created within our minds. This is because we can only perceive the world through our brain. The reality in our minds differs from person to person, and since 2012, those differences have accelerated rapidly. As we approach 2024, we are on the verge of entering an era where people can no longer share the same reality. And over the next 10 years, our inner realities will likely become even more fragmented. Looking at the same moon. There was once a time when people could look up at the sky and see the same moon, sharing the same reality. But that era is coming to an end. When someone says, face reality, the definition of a reality is no longer something that can be easily agreed upon. Moreover, we are moving into a time where there's no need to have just one defined reality. Hello, I'm Japanese Urban Sage. As someone who holds on to an old perspective, the confusion that comes with reality not being a single truth is difficult to accept. But as Darwin once said, it is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent, but the one most adaptable to change. So, what exactly has been happening since 2012, and what will happen in the future? As a modern hermit, I'd like to share my thoughts on this increasing, parallel world of realities. According to the second law of thermodynamics, the world is constantly changing and moving toward chaos. This change is unstoppable and will continue. Here's how the video will be structured. What exactly is reality? The changes that have been occurring since 2012. The changes we can expect in the future. The smartest way to live in this rapidly changing world. Let's begin with the first point. What is reality? There are two types of reality. Objective reality. The reality created within each person's mind. Objective reality refers to the facts and events happening in the world. When science says it seeks to understand reality, this is the reality it's referring to, an impersonal, universal truth. However, the reality we experience day to day is created in our minds. Why? Because we can only perceive the world through our brain. For instance, matter is made up of subatomic particles, and everything vibrates at a subtle level. Sound and light are waves vibrations, and we gather this information through our senses, which is then processed by the brain as reality. For example, a bell doesn't actually make the sound a ding-ding. It simply vibrates. Our ears pick up those vibrations, and our brain interprets them as ding-ding. The same goes for vision. Colors don't truly exist, our eyes pick up different frequencies of vibration, and our brain converts that into the images we see. In short, the reality we experience is just a construct created by the brain. The changes since 2012. Around 2010, smartphones became widely popular, and by 2012, the number of people using social media exploded. When you get on a train today, everyone is staring at their smartphone screens. Nobody looks out the window anymore to see the real world. Smartphones are equipped with AI that displays content tailored to each user's preferences. In other words, AI delivers a customized, limited reality for each person. Since 2012, as more people spend hours staring at their smartphone screens, the time spent seeing only their personalized version of reality has increased. Some people now spend 3 to 4 hours of their waking day looking at their smartphone screens. This means that for about a quarter of our waking hours, we are all experiencing entirely different versions of reality. As I mentioned earlier, reality is a creation of the brain, and the information displayed on a smartphone screen significantly influences a person's perception of reality. As a result, the content that appears on our screens has become our new reality. Though we know there's an objective reality based on scientific facts, many people are no longer aware of that reality. For example, someone deeply into spiritual or conspiracy theories might spend their time consuming only that type of information, and this becomes their reality. The rise of AR and VR's parallel realities. As of 2024, the different realities we experience remain confined mainly to our smartphone screens. However, as AR augmented reality and VR virtual reality technologies evolve, this will change drastically. AR technology overlays virtual information onto the real world. A popular example is Pokémon Go, which was released in 2016 and allowed players to see Pokémon characters in the real world through their smartphones. In the future, AR glasses may become widespread, allowing people to see whatever version of reality they prefer. Imagine if someone's AR glasses made a cloudy day look like a sunny one, or if ordinary people appeared as movie stars. AR will allow us to create and live in our own customized realities. VR virtual reality immerses us completely in a computer-generated world. As VR technology improves to simulate not just sight and sound, but also smell and touch, it may become impossible to distinguish between the real world and virtual worlds. The end of shared reality. As AR and VR technologies evolve, more and more people will start living in realities where the line between the real and virtual blurs. For example, someone wearing AR glasses might experience an entirely different version of the world than the person standing next to them. In the future, we will no longer be able to share a common reality. You may look up at the moon, but the person next to you might see a completely different version of it through their AR glasses. This divergence of realities will continue to accelerate. Each person will experience their own fragmented reality, and it will become increasingly difficult for people to live in a shared world. Adapting to changing realities. As we move into an era where our realities are more diverse than ever before, the wise way to live is to choose your own reality. There will be no need to adjust your reality to align with someone else's. You can live in the reality that suits you best. It might be confusing for those of us who grew up with the idea that there is one single truth. But as Darwin said, the key to survival is adaptation. The time has come to embrace the changing nature of reality and live authentically in the world you create for yourself. Facing reality, a shifting concept. In the past, when people were told to face reality, it referred to the unaltered, unprocessed reality that everyone shared. It was thought to be the one true reality. But for future generations, this may no longer be the case. Processed, edited, or even virtual realities may become just as natural and accepted as what we used to consider real. Just as it has become second nature for us to look at our smartphone screens, future generations may take for granted that they are experiencing multiple versions of reality through AR and VR. People will come to see only what they want to see as their reality, thanks to these technologies. The smart way to live in this era. As we move forward, reality will become even more diverse. The realities we create in our minds will continue to fragment, and there will no longer be a need to be bound to just one version of reality. For those of us who hold on to old perspectives, this fragmentation of reality may seem confusing or unsettling. But as Darwin said, it's not the strongest species that survive, but the ones most adaptable to change. We must learn to adapt to this new era of multiple realities. No longer will we need to sync our reality with others. Each person will have the freedom to live in their own version of reality. A world where sharing reality becomes less important. In the future, it will become less and less necessary for us to share the same reality with others. The reason is that reality itself will become more personalized and individualized. It will no longer be possible for everyone to live in the same reality. For example, someone who spends a lot of time in virtual reality may experience a very different reality than someone who doesn't. And when these two people speak, they may find it difficult to find common ground. Even when meeting someone for the first time, conversations may become harder because you're not sharing the same reality. For instance, if you mention a recent news event, the other person might have no idea what you're talking about because they live in a completely different reality. It might seem like the younger generation is out of touch with reality, but in fact, technology is rapidly expanding the different versions of reality that people experience. Reality doesn't have to be singular. In this new era, reality no longer has to be singular. More people will embrace virtual or edited realities, and these will become their truths. It might become normal for people to spend hours in virtual worlds, and the need to cling to a single reality will disappear. As a result, the notion of one correct reality may become obsolete. People will choose the reality that they want to live in without the need to conform to others' realities. Choosing your own reality. In such a time, the smartest way to live is to choose the reality you want to live in. There's no longer a need to align your reality with someone else's. You can live freely in the reality that you prefer. However, those who hold on to old concepts of reality might struggle with the idea that we must match our reality to someone else's. But this kind of thinking will lose its relevance in the future. Comparing yourself to others will no longer hold meaning because you're no longer living in the same reality. This is the future we have never experienced before. Preparing for the future of reality. In the future, we will likely live in a world where everyone experiences a different reality. At that point, it won't be necessary to adjust your perception to fit someone else's. Sharing the same reality will no longer be expected. Even though a single, objective reality may still exist, people will lose the ability to recognize it. Each person will come to believe that the reality created in their own mind is the true one. Living at your own pace. As the future of reality diversifies, the best thing we can do is live at our own pace. There's no longer a need to conform to others or adjust your life to someone else's version of reality. In the future, comparing yourself to others will also become less important. It won't matter if an absolute truth exists, because your reality is what matters most to you. This is the smart way to live in the new era. In conclusion, as reality diversifies, we are entering a time where living in parallel worlds may become the norm. Even though we're all living on the same planet, everyone will be experiencing a different reality. You won't need to conform to others' realities anymore. What will matter most is living your own truth and making sure it brings you happiness. A time is coming where reality will differ from person to person. From a spiritual perspective, this could be considered one of the symptoms of the ascension, the shift from the 3D world to the 5D world. Through the practice of hermit-like spiritual training, let's live a happy and joyful life. Thank you for watching until the end. I appreciate it.